Okay, so this is going to be a quick demonstration of how to do the programming for the TOA and KeyDigital LeCambio integration. So the first step that we want to do is kind of take our seats in the room where we want to create our presets to point to have the camera move to those desired presets. So we're going to collect the XY beam steering status from Lenubio. Here we're going to show how it's done using Compass Control, but this is also something that can be collected from the Lenubio web interface as well. So we have Shauna and Eric of TOA. Thank you guys very much for your help. And Shauna, if you could please go ahead and press Start Meeting and head over to the mic and speaker button and the beam steering button in the top right. Wonderful. So Shauna, I'm going to make a note. You're sitting in the center position. And if you could, go ahead and just filibuster. Give us about 10 seconds of speech as you would in the conference call.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. I am in the center of the room. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Great, great, great. So what we've seen here is the X is pretty much at 0, which is as to be expected. And the Y, while you were speaking, was always like around 60. Go ahead and do it one more time. We're going to take note of it one more time to make sure it's consistent.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. I'm speaking from the center of the room. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. And we are seeing what the X and the Y values are. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, so the X is around 0. The Y is, 50 and greater. Very good. Let's, and for your room, you actually have 2 additional seats you want to sit in. So let's have you go ahead and move to the to your left there, Shauna.
And testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Checking out the left side of the room here. Seeing what the X and Y values are as well. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. And, just checking again just to make sure what those X and Y values are. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. And so what we've consistently seen there is like negative 20-ish type numbers. And so I'm making a note of these settings, and you, if you're programming this as well, you'll want to make a note of the what you're mostly getting number-wise, because we're going to establish a range in our Compass Navigator program. So last one, Eric, your turn, please. All the way up to the right.
Over here, yep, here I am. I am testing the XY values on my right-hand side of the table, which is our third position, making sure that everything is accurate and nice and tight. As you guys can see, the X and the Y has been changing precisely.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. So yeah, a lot of basically, this is using the Lenubio's beam steering, which if you haven't already made this conclusion, straight on from the center of the Lenubio mic array is 0. And then where Eric's currently sitting, that's all your positive values. Where Shauna had set in the second seat is was all of the negative X values. Great. Thank you guys very much for doing that. Now, Shauna, if you could, can you please press the back button here on the, and then the press that setup button in the top right. And I'd like to show everybody something very important, the device info. So this is the device ID of their iPad. Now, every Compass iPad has a unique device ID, and if you have just begun starting with Compass Control, your iPad will not yet have a device ID. You'll have to generate it. We do have a technical guide on that in our tech guides and videos section. And so with that said, Shauna, you can now go ahead and stop sharing from the iPad. So here we are at KeyDigital.com. Now, you do need to already have Compass Control downloaded on your computer, which means you also need to be C1 certified. But once you're here, you could head into the products compass control column, and we have our bidirectional partner modules. And all of our modules are here, but I'm just going to go ahead and type in TOA because I know specifically what I'm looking for. The Lenubio AM-CF1. I have the module manual open in another tab already, and the module file here. So I could go ahead and press that to begin the download. And while that's happening, I'll show you in the module manual, we kind of give you the walkthrough of how control is done. We have, we tell you that you can use the web browser to set up the AM-CF1 Lenubio unit on port 8000. However, very important, compass control is actually controlling on port 3000. So the Lenubio API is on port 3000. And for this integration, we have a whole section on integrating with KD-CAMUSB. And we have variables that are tracking exactly the X and Y. So as we collect the beam steering, as we demonstrated earlier, we could put events on the value that's coming back from Lenubio, the X and Y values. And when the X and Y values are in a range of the desired preset, then you could send a command to set the KD-CAMUSB to that preset. So Shauna and Eric are already sitting in seats that we've already created presets for our cameras, in fact. And Eric is in preset, he's currently seated at that preset 1. Shauna is in the center, that's preset 2. And then the other seat that's not currently viewable is preset 3. And so what I'm gonna do, if you notice here, actually one more thing, we actually give a perfect, as luck would have it, we give a perfect starting point. We give 2 projects in this folder, a large room and a small room. Here's the small room where it's kind of exactly like what the room that TOA has in their office. And we even have another where it's kind of more of a conference table, a long conference table that's pretty common as well. And we show you what to do, where we're sending commands depending on the XY beam steering status. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to quickly extract this folder. And you see that I've already kind of been busy today doing this a little bit, but we want to show you all from the beginning. Okay, and in Compass Navigator, there's projects in here, including the module manual and everything as well, if you needed, as I'll show you. Okay, so we have everything here. Here's this large room, and here's the small room project that we could actually start from. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I have Compass Navigator open a few times, in fact. So I'm going to go ahead and open this project. Say no there. Here's the newer one. Okay, the small room. And now, so this is a starting point. So of course, your project may be a little different from ours. For example, so I'm going to go ahead and do a save as. So I could give this a unique name. So this is TOA LeCambio. And Shauna, I believe you had said this is room B in your office. Is that correct?
Yes.
Good. And so now that I've done a save as, we know the device ID of what they had. And not to worry with Compass Control, even though the whole world is seeing this device ID, they cannot write to your iPad because it has to be licensed to a specific user. And we can also reference the IP addresses of the LeCambio, which I do have another project that was open already. So I'm just going to reference those things real quick. And again, this is, we have a step-by-step guide, and where we show you how to collect this information from the LeCambio or the Lenubio itself, and how to set it on the CX800 as well. So they have a CX800 IP address 111.61, so that's a KeyDigital controller. Their Lenubio is 111.60. And so again, we have guides for that, and it's all in the LeCambio step-by-step guide that we have posted on KeyDigital website. Our demo project, we actually start you off with an MC1000, which is a different type of controller. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. And I'm going to add in a CX800. So I could just call it CX800 B, for example. Here's the IP address. Add that in and move it into our control tree. And if you noticed, they had port number 3 as RS-232 for controlling the camera. Save early, save often. Now, we have already started off, we already give you a starting point for this project, okay? And now it's just a matter of fine tuning. We had a perfect starting point. Now it's just a matter of fine tuning when we're going to call these presets. So here is where we put those on the demo projects. Here in the variables tab. So we chose the iPad. We're here in the variables tab. And in the project variables, we have the X, the beam steering position X. So this is the status. We also have Y, but if you take a look, we're not using that to send any commands. So this first one here is, in this case, what are we doing if no one's talking? So we didn't collect this during today's video recording, but actually Shauna and I had previously done this, and we found that basically anything, when it was quiet in the room, the Y sat firmly at 55 or less. So anytime that, and every time somebody was speaking from the left, center, or right, it was greater than that. In fact, the center was around 55. So I'm going to make this, I'm going to lower that threshold a little bit more. So if the Y value is less than 50, nothing happens inside of our if statement. Now, here was preset 1, and this is the negative values. In other words, the seat that Eric's currently seated in. Here is where we call the preset 2, and here's where we call the preset 3. So 2 is the center of the room as we refer to the starting point project, right? Preset 2 in the center, 1, just 2, 3. And again, this is from the perspective of the camera. So 1, 2, 3. So, what was certain when we did the camera, when we were seated in the middle, it was right around 0. If we go too high on these numbers of -18, +18, so this is kind of making a range of when are we instead going to position 1, or when are we instead going to position 3, the left and right presets. But I like to start in the center here. And if we just do something, for example, if X, the -10 to 10. So this is a whole range of 20, from -10 to +10, that whole range of 20, we keep it in the center, okay? Here in this position, the negative, since we've already established our range of -10 to +10, we could just go ahead and say, all right, well, if it is less than -10, so that's -11, -12, -13, etc. And here, greater than 10, okay, then it's going to move to the third position. So we kind of established what was the range there, and now all that we have to do, we save, and we can upload this project. This generally takes like maybe 60 to 120 seconds, depending on the project size. So this is how we get the project into the iPad. We go up to KeyDigital Secure Server, and it posts, the project says, hey, here's my device ID. I'm posting it up there. In order to be able to go to the server, we have to make sure that that device ID is licensed. So there is one iPad. Each iPad requires a license for our system. And if it's unlicensed, that device ID, then it will reject it. And now I'm going to go ahead and stop share and hand it over to TOA and do projects, load from server. And go ahead and press, yep, that blue button there said update master controllers. Great, start project. We're on the home page where we see start and end meeting. And Shauna, would you go ahead and press start meeting, please? Great, and we are here and we see the X and Y beam steering status at the within the Lenubio module. So we see that that's updating, indicating a healthy bidirectional communication with Lenubio. And so now, and obviously the camera's just directed right there at the center. So let's have Eric do talking for the next moment.
Hey guys, this is Eric with TOA Electronics. Good to be here. Thank you, Jonathan, for allowing us to participate in this beautiful demonstration.
Wonderful, wonderful. Shauna, back to you, please.
Hey guys, my name is Shauna here at TOA as well. Definitely excited to do this demonstration for everyone.
And finally, Eric, would you mind heading over to the other seat there where we programmed our preset? Okay.
Hey, how you doing? This is Eric from TOA. As you can see, the camera is now on me, which is beautiful. Jonathan, how was that?
Wonderful, wonderful. Yep, that's it. Eric and Shauna of TOA Electronics, thank you so much for your help with this video, help with installing. You guys are absolute stars.
Yeah, if you guys need any help with Lenubio, or once this installation gets set up for you guys, you can go to toaelectronics.com and click on tech support, or give us a call direct. All that information is right on our website. And for any information on integrating this LeCambio system, Lenubio with Compass Control and the CAMUSB, you send an email over to tech@keydigital.com. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Shauna. Thanks, Jonathan. Take care.